listening to Footscray Live.
Joining us on the Tech Show today is Brigida Clifford, Head of Technology at Footscray City College. I am also joined by panel Stanley.
Hello.
Carter.
Yep. David.
And Miles.
Hi Brigida, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Marley?
Good. How long have you been a teacher here at Footscray City College?
I started in 2016 here, I think, and then it's maybe 4 years.
Okay. And have you had any previous careers?
I have left teaching once or twice before and pursued other things. So I didn't ever want to be a teacher. I more wanted to work in food, and I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in catering companies, and done a bit of food styling, and then almost left and worked with Maggie Beer, but I went to London instead to pursue food. But then I've come back to teaching.
Yeah.
David here. How long have you been... Wait, no. Must it be hard being the head of technology?
It can be. There's a lot of subjects in technology, from STEAM to woodwork to the engineering-based subjects and textiles, and of course food and hospitality and furnishing making. So there's a lot to get your head around, but I do my best.
So if you could choose any job, but like even if you wanted to start teaching, what would you choose?
That's a good question, because I have left school. I was at another school for 4.5 years, and then I left to try all these different things, and I've come back. But I did like food styling. I worked as an assistant for a while, but I think it was the week that I spent 20 hours looking at olives to find the perfect olives for 3 different jars. I decided I think teaching is a bit more rewarding. I do like event management and working in events. I haven't been an event manager, but I've worked at catering companies that have done multi-million-dollar events, which was really fun.
Stanley here. Out of all the things you did before you became teaching, what was one of your favourite things? Like, if you weren't a teacher, you would do that instead.
I really always loved recipe development. So I always wanted to work in a magazine and do that kind of thing. So before I said that I was maybe going to quit, I was either going to move to South Australia and work with Maggie Beer, or I was going to work in London. And I ended up in London. It was after a stint that I did working with Maggie Beer, and I did her recipe development for her MasterChef challenge that year. So it was like a upside down great cake, and then I'd accidentally burnt the caramel on the grapes, and I'd burnt it a little bit too far, but she was really gracious and said, well, actually, I think I like the burnt flavour because it goes with her palate. So I think I made that cake 11 times or so, testing it to get the right level of burntness, and then writing the recipe for the MasterChef contestants to get the same level. So I really enjoyed that, and then I cooked at her house for her friends and family when she won an Order of Australia that year. So it was really interesting, and I learnt a lot from her. Not necessarily, not always simply just cooking, but just her making something really good out of a cake that I'd burnt, or the caramel that I'd burnt. And she's like, no, I think that's really good. I think we can run with that and maybe change it. And knowing that there's not always a wrong outcome or a bad outcome, it's just something to learn from. So I do like recipe development.
Yeah, okay.
As a teacher, have you always taught technology?
Yeah, I've taught always food tech. I think they put me. I was teaching textiles once. It wasn't a very good combination. I'm just trying to think if I've taught any other subjects. I used to be in my second school a mentor teacher, so I was like a homeroom teacher, and I had the same students. They're in the same mentor from 7 to 12. They were really... We became quite a little family after a while. We'd see each other twice a day, every day, and for an hour in between during the week. for 4.5 years, the same student. So that was good. But no, food. I'm quite specialised into food and now hospitality too.
Yeah, so with food tech, if a student does something wrong, do you get angry or are you like calm about it?
Oh, it depends what they've done. It depends if they're trying, or it depends if they're... if someone makes a mistake, that's fine. I had a student this morning that went through over 12 eggs to make a sponge that only needed 2.
Wow.
And that's not including the 2 that he dropped on the floor. But he was trying his best and was really determined, which was really good. But I've been in other... Sometimes when students are misbehaving and they're wasting food or ruining food, then I will get annoyed. So that's not a mistake, that's a choice. But if a mistake when someone's trying to be trying their best and they've listened and they're trying to do the right thing, no, I don't get annoyed, because everyone does make mistakes. I've made plenty.
At Footscray City College, what opportunities do students have to pursue hospitality as a career?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So, at Footscray City College, what opportunities do students have to pursue hospitality?
Well, we run the kitchen operations, hospitality kitchen operations. So that's the back of house, and they start in year 10 or 11 if they want to jump ahead a year, and then they follow that to year 12. So that takes off a large chunk of the TAFE course. That's commercial cookery or any of the hospitality industry based courses at TAFE. We already study a fair chunk of that at school. And then we have the chef's dinner as well, which gives students that may not be involved in that or may not be enrolled in that subject or may want to move into front of house. We give them the opportunity to work with the front of house manager to learn how to be a waiter on that evening as well. So, and then, I suppose you could include event management, where I had a lot of students help set up the room for the function. So we had 400 lanterns and over 500 metres of lights hanging from the ceiling this year. Yeah. So they helped set up with that. So that's lots of areas of hospitality.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lights.
Mm.
So what do you do in hospitality?
Well, in year 11, there's only 2 prac subjects, but I do stretch them out, and we learn about working with customers, working with colleagues, food, hygiene and safety, and we do more complicated cooking than we do it is more complicated, it's more technical than we do in food tech. And then in year 12, we use those skills and we do lots of different dishes and complicated dishes. So you will cook for 6 people instead of just yourself. So you'll have to make multiple portions and you have to replicate the same one so they're the same. So it's a bit different. It's just a bit like working in a restaurant and teaching you the skills to do that too.
That brings our interview to an end. Brigida Clifford, thank you for joining us. That was Brigida Clifford, Head of Technology at Footscray City College. Thanks also to my interview panel today.
Stanley.
Carter.
David.
Miles.
My name is Molly Hook. Thanks for your company. This has been the Tech Show on Footscray.
You're listening to Footscray Live.